All right. So, how did you find out about stock pickers and what are you looking to get out of it?
Right, so I found about stock pickers on Twitter. Like I would see your account, and I always thought like, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. You kind of built my trust in like looking at your tweets and seeing like how you like understand the markets. And
Okay.
so I'm a young guy. I started working about a year ago, so I've saved up some money now. And I've always said like when I start working, I wanted to like get into investing properly. And I looked for someone that's kind of like a personal trainer. You know, when you go to gym for the first time, like you need a personal
Yeah.
trainer to kind of get you on like the right track, make sure you're doing the right exercises. So like I
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
looking for
I
my
actually use that analogy a lot when I describe
okay.
what I do. So I like the fact that you naturally actually thought that.
Okay.
Yeah, that is what I am. It's interesting you say Twitter because sometimes I'm on Twitter and I feel like I'm just chatting to myself. I just tweet. Um, Twitter is probably my least used social media.
All
So it was
right.
only maybe in the past year that I started to tweet.
All right.
Um, and yeah, I think I don't have I don't have that many followers on there. So I'm always surprised where I feel like I've gone on there and I've followed so many accounts. I want to see what they're saying or what they're doing, but I don't think I've got many followers. So it's actually interesting that, some of the tweets I'm putting out there is actually reaching people. Maybe I should tweet more.
I
But
mean, that's dope, man.
how many years outside of uni are you?
So this is my first year out of uni. But I got
Okay.
a job, like straight after uni, so I've just been working for like the whole year,
No,
and then
that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Um, can I ask a personal question? Do you mind me asking?
yeah, no problem.
How much have you managed to save? Um, just a
Yeah,
number in that
yeah.
1 year out after uni.
So I've saved about like 15K because obviously I'm living with my parents, so I'm not spending too
Yeah, I
much.
mean, live your life, bro.
Yeah, but I mean I
Yeah,
don't really spend too much money anyway. So like yeah,
okay,
around 15K, including like some of what I mean, that's including some of what I had like in my last year of uni and then
yeah,
working. So yeah, around
okay.
15K.
What's your career? What's your industry? What do you actually do?
Yeah, I'm a software developer. So I work for like a startup as like a software developer, web developer, full stack. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So you were one of the smart people who realized where where to hone in your skills and which
Yeah.
industry to attack. No, I
You know,
love to see
I
it,
always
bro.
like computer. I've always liked computers. So that was like what I was always gonna do kind of thing.
No, that's good. That's great. All right, that's fantastic. The reason I ask is within the community, my job isn't just to help people to make money using the stock market. I
Right.
also look out for my clients on the career side because I'm a career mentor as well. Now,
Yeah.
I don't need to be, look, I've done a bit of coding and Python and VBA in my time. Didn't really enjoy it. Maybe from time to time I do look at my VBA codes and do some bits and pieces, but existing code. But it's also my responsibility to leverage my network. There are people in my network, I know what they do, you don't know what they do, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you were looking for a career move within tech. There's so many options. You can do technology within an investment bank. You can do technology within a law firm, consulting. You can do technology in a startup,
Right.
and you might even be starting your own business.
Yeah.
So one of the big things about the community is the
Yeah.
network, because whether you're increasing your wealth via your savings in the stock market or you're increasing your salary because someone put a job opening in the group and it was just a perfect match for you, or you started a business and I was able to partner you up with the right type of angel investor, or I was able to help you manage your savings better and say, do you know what, of that 15K, 5K emergency cash, 5K into the stock market, and the rest we think about later, maybe
Okay.
backup capital. Because you have to remember that even once you've done that, you will still start adding to your savings each month anyway, right?
Yeah.
The other 5K could just be in a lifestyle and you're just saving up to get for a house, right?
Okay.
Um, and then I might introduce you to a financial advisor because there's a lot of diversity now. We've got black financial advisors now. So
Yeah.
my job is to make sure that
Yeah.
we see them, you know they exist, and I
100%.
connect you to at least have conversations and hopefully you become their client, right?
Yeah.
The other
100%.
thing is, and I'll tell you the difference between myself and a financial advisor. I'm the guy actually telling you to go and see a financial advisor, to go and see this person for insurance, life insurance, making
Right.
sure that, when you do get round to wanting to write a will, I give you a list of people to choose from that can help you through that process. But my background is obviously as a trader. That's I'm a price guy, right? I understand price action, whether
Yeah.
that's the price of plantain in the market
That's
or
good.
that's the price of
Okay.
stocks, crypto, natural gas, whatever it may be, or property or interest rates. That's
Yeah.
I understand price, right? And by understanding price, I'm still able to understand fundamentals of the different asset classes, currencies, technical analysis and chart work, and strategy, risk management. These are the things, decision making.
Yeah.
Decision making. I want to find an investing coach that I've been seeing tweeting. That is a decision, right?
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, I want to do the course. I want to be mentored by him. I want to be in the network and see how I can give to the network and how I can take from the network. I
100%.
want to see what gets recommended. I want to see the information. These are all decisions, right?
100%.
And the same way you're making these decisions with what you want to do next with your money is the same way you're going to be making decisions as to which stock is going to be next in your portfolio after you already have this stock. What is the right mix?
Right.
Which watch list am I going to be looking at? Which alerts am I going to be choosing to build a long-term stocks portfolio? Which cryptos am I going to be looking at? Who am I going to be asking for my crypto education? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I've got Blockchain Sensei in my group and they run the whole crypto education segment themselves. So I'll be sending you that way to do your crypto education, right?
Yeah.
But then I'm still the price guy. So I can still understand when a crypto is at a good price, isn't a good price, what's a safe crypto, what's a risky crypto, how you should allocate your money, the size, right? And
Right.
it's a new concept. You don't get many investing coaches out there. In
Yeah.
fact, I probably have coined the term. I'm probably the first one to actually put it like that.
Yes, they are.
You get mentors and you get influencers, but I think it's more than that, right?
Yeah.
And I've got my own spin on it. Um, and I found that the under 25s are really, really, really conscious and woke about this stuff and wanting to do better with their funds. And a lot of them actually do have a lot of capital, right? I don't know what kind of salary jump happened over the past 2, 3 years, but a lot of uni students leaving in the past 3 to 4 years are probably earning 20 to 30K more starting, right, in the lucrative side of lucrative jobs, more than the exact same person in the exact same role 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
that means is your starting salary could have been someone who's been out of uni for 7 years, 8 years, that they've just kind of moved up to there. I see these numbers. So it's quite fascinating for me. And to be honest, I love it for you guys, right? I always tell a lot of people like the under 25s are coming for all the coins. You're more conscious, there's social media, so you're learning so many things that other people had to learn through word of mouth. You're seeing it
Exactly.
on TikTok, you're seeing it on social media, so you
Yeah.
get a little bit of a head start in your decision making. So it's great.
Yes.
Um, in terms of how I think I can help you, just to run through like a little bit of how it works. So there's the WhatsApp group. That's where it all began. I was everyone's guinea pig. I started with a pool of capital. I showed people what I was doing with my pension, what I was doing with my stocks and shares ISA.
Right.
Um, and over time, I was able to 10x it. It's now dropped a little bit to like 6.5x or 6x or something like
I
that,
mean, uh, I
right?
mean, that's good to. That's
Yeah.
still.
And it's it's that transparency that has built a lot of trust
Yeah. hundred
with my
percent.
community, right?
Yeah.
Because I can have a down year and no one's looking at me like I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Because I never sold dreams. I never position myself as someone that knew it all and was going to make a killing, right? I
Right.
said, listen, this is how, and this is the best strategy right now. If you're managing your own savings, regardless of results, this is the best system of decisions,
Right.
right? Number one, being part of a community of experts.
Yeah,
Number
100.
two, having everyone looking at the same watch list, right? Regardless of if you buy different things, you're all saying, this is our watch list, this is what we're going to be looking at, and this is where we're going to be choosing our stocks from. And we're all in this together. We're all discussing the different plays, the different asset classes, the different things that could happen, right? And then we're all using a similar strategy,
Right.
right? And there's strategy for choosing stocks, there's strategy from actually executing the stocks, i.e., how much size, how much should I spend, when should I buy more? If it
Right.
drops, when should I sell? Right? How much should I spend if it drops?
Right.
And at what price? That's what I call your transaction execution strategy, which is
Right.
very different to your idea generation, which industries do I want to invest in, which stocks within those industries do I want to choose. Do I want an ETF or a single stock? Do I want an index or do I want a bit of both?
Right.
Um, which types of companies? Big ones, small ones, volatile ones, um, ones that are correlated to your index funds, to your country's national news, ones that kind of have their own story.
Right.
So that's
Oh,
the other side, which is your fundamentals, your idea generation. And what I've been able to do is repackage the technical aspects into an easy to learn, easy to understand form, right? Yes, a lot of people fail their driving test, but would you rather be learning to drive or learn to be a mechanic where you
yeah.
actually need to understand how a car works?
Right. Right.
No, okay. You just need to understand the bits that matter
So that you can
to get
drive.
you from A to B, and you
And
know that you got a driving instructor, right? And there's some rules that you need to follow on the motorway and on the roads, and there's some speed limits, and there's some. That's the perfect analogy for what I do. I teach people how to drive, and some people take longer than others to learn how to drive. And even once you learn how to drive, you don't just go from London to Manchester the next day. You
yeah,
get a
you
bit of
need
experience,
to go in
you
the
get
interval.
used to the feel of the road, other drivers, right? The car you're in, get used to the costs, insurance, petrol, and
That's
then eventually, yeah, you know about those. And then eventually you feel confident enough to go longer and longer distances, right?
yeah,
The
100%.
the right analogy for getting for going longer and longer distances in the stock market is actually risk,
Right.
right? From cautious to taking a bit more risk and trying a bit more risky asset classes. But
Yeah.
in driving, you're doing it from a place of experience.
Yeah,
You
100%.
understand the roads. You kind of can handle yourself if there was a bit of
I think that's
turbulence
the
or
thing.
whatever, right? Likewise, you make profit using the bread and butter strategies, your more careful strategies. So when you are taking those risks, how you do it matters. If I
Right.
say to you, oh, I'm only taking a percentage of profits I've made using route one, route A, and
Right.
that's the only bit of capital I use when I'm dabbling into meme coins or penny stocks or whatever,
Yeah.
then you know that even if it doesn't go to plan,
Yeah. You're
you're
confident.
not going to get killed. But you also know that if you can still apply strategy when you're doing those riskier things, same concepts, your reward can be significant as well.
100%.
So it's all about processes and systems and being in the room, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
takes a lot of humility,
Mm,
right? And this is for anyone listening that's like someone who's worked in investment banking for 5 to 10 years. It takes a lot of humility to join this kind of group, right?
right.
Because you think you know it, right? You think you know it or you think you can figure it out. But
Mm.
even I don't invest alone with my own thoughts. I
Yeah.
still tap into my own group that I created because there could be someone who's a dentist and I'm about to buy Invisalign, Align Technology. and their insight will be more than mine. There might be my old bosses in the group, ex-colleagues are in the group who've gone on to bigger and greater things. And I want to know their insights.
Yeah.
No matter how much I know about stocks, if Warren Buffett was in my WhatsApp group, would I not just say, oh, Warren, I'm about to buy this stock? Any last words? That's the concept. So I've put a lot of experts in the room. Um, and then obviously the WhatsApp group got full, created a Telegram group and an Instagram page, and eventually started tweeting and so on and so forth, went on Clubhouse. So that was like the story of how SP actually started, more on a more commercial level. But now the courses aren't done on Zoom. It's an e-course, which is the finest recordings of the best sessions of all the Zoom courses that I did.
Right.
I didn't just want to record purely um, me educating people. I actually wanted someone watching my e-course to see questions that other people were asking, because you don't get the benefit of being
Asking.
in one of those live Zoom courses. That
Yeah.
may change. I might do a 1 day in-person course or something like that at some point in the future. But I felt there was a little bit more value being inside a classroom that happened already than just me brand new recording a course.
Yeah.
And it's just me and there's no one there to ask me any questions. Um, so that's the way the e-course is. It's priced at 1,000. My pricing was in line with how do you teach someone how to drive? How much does it cost to drive? Right?
Yeah.
1 grand, roughly, right? And then you've got buying a car, doing finance on it. Like there's our petrol, running a car is not cheap.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I said, you know what? Make it affordable, not too cheap. The right pricing for me was 1,000. It's about 7.5 hours content.
Mhm.
Um, then I've got the paid mentoring group, which is £20 a month.
Right.
And then I've got the £50 a month. So £50 a month WhatsApp.
All right.
The
So what
way
do
the
you
£50
think?
a month WhatsApp works is if you get that, you get access to everything
Okay. As in,
apart from the course,
okay.
right? The way the £20 a month works is, well, there's two ways. The first one is if you don't want to do the course, you don't want to be in any groups, you just want access to the watch list and the alerts, right? That's just £20 a month.
Okay.
But I always tell people those alerts have been designed to work with the system that I teach on the course,
Yeah. So you don't really
right?
understand.
So don't just go buying alerts, doing your own thing, lose money, and then come and tell me that. No, there's a reason, but that option is there. If you've done the course and you just want to be in the group mentoring on Telegram, the paid group on Telegram, because there's a free group on Telegram where everyone's there, but there's a paid group as well. That's just also £20 a month. And it comes with the watch list and the alerts and membership to that group. So you
All
can
right.
see what I did there. I priced it the same
Yeah.
as someone who doesn't want to be in a group, doesn't want to do the course, but just wants access.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, the WhatsApp is limited spaces and a lot more people are using it for the network now
All
than
right.
actually the investing.
Okay.
Um, so I just priced it like that for someone that just wants to join the WhatsApp group, doesn't want to do the course, but you will still get access to the watch list and the alerts.
Okay.
So that's the way it is at the moment. Some people do require one-to-one.
All right.
They just I'm telling you to do the group, and they're like, no, I need a one-to-one. I'm like, okay, cool. If you want the one-to-one program after you do the course, it's £200 a month, but it does come with a session like this once a month. That's one-to-one
All right.
for an hour. Sometimes it does an hour and a half. And a session like that, when I'm going through your portfolio and stuff like that, should on its own, well, market is like 200 to 300, right? In fact, even with a financial advisor, just to do like a proper review can cost you up to £1,000. Yeah. And there's no investing in there. That's actually just holistically looking at your finances, your like maybe want to buy property, just everything.
All right.
Um, but yeah, that's my pricing at the moment anyway. It probably will stay like that at a time. Believe it or not, I do try and discourage people from doing the one-to-one because
Oh,
number one, it's not scalable.
yeah, yeah,
I
easy.
try and make sure you only do it if you need it. So there
Yeah.
are some people with a lot of, you know, 50K, 100K type portfolios who, number one, they can afford the monthly, and number two, they're making it back. Um, and I always tell people like what you're paying for is the education and the access and everything. You're not paying for like profits. Like you shouldn't join SPA because you and then start looking at your £20 a month and looking at whether you make £20 a month in your portfolio. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, to put things in perspective, there are people who in 2020 when markets were really good, they tripled their portfolio and they were making 5 years worth of mentoring club money, right? So the market has an ebb and a flow. There could be times where it's tough and you're weathering the storm and you're planting your seeds, and there could be times where you're reaping a bountiful harvest, right?
Mm,
So the mindset you come into SPA has to be right. And I'll preach this from now to kingdom come.
mm,
Um, so that's how it works. That's how
right.
it works. I'm happy we're having this conversation. I'll probably put it out there so people can see. Hope you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem.
Um, and then yeah, just are you in the free group already?
The Telegram. I
The
mean,
big one.
yeah, the big
Yeah,
one.
okay, cool. So you know how that operates, and that's just a free Q&A. And I
Yeah,
always encourage people to just send a link to your friends. Make sure they're in the room. It's a free room, and it's free advertising if you've got a business, you know.
yeah,
And with your skill set, I feel like you'll get to a point where someone's going to want to collaborate with you to start a business, right?
yeah,
This is the pathway for a lot of developers, right? Or you might even think of something yourself. So if you ever do that and you want to leverage a group to get clients, or maybe you actually reach out to the group and say, is anyone looking for a developer?
right.
Or has anyone got a business where they're looking to hire someone that can code? I'm looking to partner up, right? Um, you know how Fiverr works as well. You can be a freelancer on there, just do little projects here and there, build your portfolio up,
Yeah,
and just positioning is everything, right? I mean, you never know who might want to collaborate with you as well.
yeah.
Do you have any questions for me?
Well, actually, I had a few written down. 1 second, let me.
We like that. We like people who are prepared. You know,
Yeah,
80% of my clients are women.
yeah. I'm sure that most people, like, guys are like, I don't need to worry about all that stuff. I can work it out or something. But
Yeah, yeah. Guys like to figure things out for themselves. So when I see guys come through, I'm actually quite, it says a lot about you as a guy. Not to, in fact, I am judging guys that don't want to come through, but like it says a lot that okay, do you know what? You're switched on, you're woke, you're a little bit um you're a deep thinker already.
Yeah, I think I've realized like I'm a person I really like frameworks and structures. So like I think
Mm,
it's always good to have, especially someone to give you kind of a framework to like work under, to like understand, rather than trying to, like, when you go on the internet, if you type in stocks, there's too much information, so
yeah.
you get like information overload. So I think it's
It's
always
inefficient.
100%. So my first question was, so obviously I said that I saved over like 15,000. Like, do you
Yeah.
think that's kind of enough to start, or do you think I should like focus more on like increase?
I've got people who start with zero. They start with zero. They actually pay for the course and pay for the mentoring and then start saving up in the background, right?
Right.
Because they're not paying for the profits. Like I said, they're paying for the knowledge and the information whilst they get their life together, right? You can buy a car before you buy a house, right? There are people who pay for their driving lessons and learn how to drive before, and then they start saving up for a house,
Mm,
right? And there's nothing wrong with that. So you can actually start from zero. There are people who start with £500, and I say that's going to get you one stock with my system, right?
right.
this is how you're going to spend the first 200. This is how you're going to spend the second. This is how you're going to spend the third at these prices if they get there. You're going to
Right.
be cautious with it, but you're going to really think about the right stock that works for you, right?
Mm.
What career are you in? What's your natural interests? And are there stocks already on alert that already align to your natural interests or your career? That's your starting point, right?
Right.
And this is you learn this on the course. Like this is the beginning of that decision making process in terms of how to really pick stocks and invest in the stock market. You start with your natural interests, but then
Right.
you need to know what price is good, right? For the stocks that align with your natural interests or hobbies, and if any one of those is actually trending right now. Like let's just say you worked in cybersecurity, right?
Right.
And you know AI is trending, and maybe there was also a stock on the watch list that was an alert at that price. I may not have ever bought that stock, but it's starting to the stars are starting to align. And choosing your first stock is so important. And I will actually mentor you on that and coach you how to go about doing that.
Right.
But in
Is that
terms of 15K to get started, bro, it's more than enough, right? The
right?
target every year is going to be about trying to make 20%, which
Right.
doesn't sound like much, right? It's
I
what,
mean,
£300, 3K,
yeah, that I mean,
right?
that's
But
actually great.
compounding 20% every 4 years, you double your money. So really, you're trying to get to 30K by 2027 and then 60K and then, do you understand? But there might be some years where you do more, there might be some years where you do less, but the system targets approximately 20%. But
Right.
you're going to get promoted at work, you're going to get richer anyway, you're going to contribute a bit more each year. So contributions alone, your 15K is going to keep growing, right? Um, I wouldn't get you starting the whole thing with 15K. I'll probably say to you, let's start with five. Um, leave the other five to go towards saving for a house, right?
Right.
And when you allocate your income every month, some goes into your house pot, some goes into your stocks,
Right.
right? And even within the stocks, all your 5K is not going to be spent all in one go. It
Yeah.
could only maybe potentially be 1 to 2K of that 5K that's spent. So of your whole 15K, it could actually only be 2K that you're entering the market with.
Mm.
So it's careful, it's cautious, it's gentle, but we know we've got that backup cash should we need to temporarily or whatever, like put a
Right.
bit more capital into market, right? So yeah, 100% like you've got the right kind of capital level regardless. And the strategy is like a chameleon. It adjusts to your lifestyle, how
Right.
much savings you're starting with, and naturally has a careful approach.
Yeah, I mean that's 100% what I'm looking for more. Like, compound interest rather than like I'm not trying to do like I mean I like crypto and like things that are like more risky, but I think I've always been more of like a long term kind of
Yeah.
yeah, kind of
So regardless, you'll have your index. We'll have an index fund strategy anyway,
right.
because that's the only guaranteed way to make money in the stock market. S&P 500 index,
Yeah.
dollar cost
Right.
averaging about 10% each year,
Right.
right? So that can be running in the background. You might start with 2K and then have this strategy of putting £200 a month, right? And you'll run that regardless for the next 21 years, the same way you run a mortgage for 25 years or whatever. So that will just happen regardless. So
Right.
regardless of what else happens, you know that that will compound and keep growing anyway through the stock market. So
Right.
we'll definitely set you up with that anyway. I don't charge for index fund stuff because that is out there on YouTube. My system, my strategy, that's not out there on YouTube.
Right.
It's the first time, and I know it's the first time because a lot of people with the experience they don't want to do what I do.
Oh, is it?
Honestly, like they
Yeah.
don't want to do running Telegram groups, running WhatsApp groups, running Instagram pages. So what happens? It's only the people who have the interest that are doing it, and a lot
Right.
of them don't have the experience to match.
Right.
Um, and even me that I do have the experience to match, I still call myself a student of the game.
I mean, that's important. I mean, I'm sure even Ronaldo always says it. Like, he still has stuff to learn. So like,
You still have stuff to learn. The market hands out lessons all the time. I'm going to give you a sneak preview
yeah.
um, of the SPA watch list before you leave, just so you get an idea.
Actually, I had one more question as well, if that's
Yeah,
okay.
ask away.
Um, like how much prior knowledge do you think I need before I kind of join the course? Because like I know a little bit about, ETFs and things like that, but obviously how
Yeah,
much do you think is a thing where I would have to know some prior knowledge before I can like even join the group, or is it the course will cover most of the knowledge you need, and then once you join the course, you kind of get the mentoring and things like that. That'll be good
yeah.
enough.
Like I said, I've learned how to be a mechanic, a mechanical engineer. I've done all of that,
All
and
right.
I'm not trying to teach everyone how to be me, because then I'll be mentoring you on how to choose a uni to go and do a course, or how to go and start learning your CFA, or how to, apply for an investment bank and become an analyst,
All
right?
right.
Then I become a career mentor. Then I'm really trying to make you become me, right?
Yeah.
But you've got your own job. Everyone's got their own life. Not everyone wants to do that.
Mm.
So what I'm actually teaching you again is how to drive with the stock market.
All
How
right.
much prior knowledge of driving do you need? You probably knew what different cars were. You probably knew that there's a such thing as the brake, a
All right.
gear stick, automatic versus manual, an accelerator,
Yeah.
roads, signs, speed limits. But then you needed someone to teach you how to drive. It's the same thing.
All right.
You're
Yeah.
going to know some things, and it's good that you know some things. But all I'm teaching you is the strategy that I personally use myself
All right.
in a simplified manner, right? From idea generation, how I generate ideas, to how I choose alerts on my watch list, because I
All right.
do have my own watch list,
Okay.
which I'm going to show you
All
um, here. It's
right.
a real-time watch list,
Okay.
so the prices move
Oh, okay. Is it like
there
a
in this column. Yeah, markets close at 9. US markets close at 9 today.
right?
So anything that's American, and the currencies are here in this column, J,
Right.
anything that's American, the prices will move every time they move in real life.
All right. Is it like linked up to like Yahoo
Yeah,
Finance? Okay.
Google Finance.
Okay. That's good.
Look at this stock here today. It had an IPO. It's called
Oh,
Prestige Wealth.
wow. That daily
So
that it's gone up.
this is daily. Yeah, this stock has tripled today.
Man.
So I've got the color code in. So if something has a massive move, this will go really green. So I can spot it straight away. If something goes down a lot, it will go really red. So
Right.
I've got the conditional formatting on,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Excel.
Then I've got other columns like when the next earnings day is. I've got charts like the 60-day trend chart.
Right.
Um, yeah, like literally session 3 of the course is teaching you how to use this whole spreadsheet. These are
Right.
the alerts.
Okay.
That's what it
Okay.
looks like.
It literally tells you. Okay.
So I set these alerts. So for example, this is the clean energy ETF. And at some point today, it fell below 100. So it actually started alerting today, an ETF.
Okay. So
But during lockdown, it went to 1,400,
the price. Uh,
the
uh,
price of this, yes.
oh wow.
And it's around that time that I set the target entry to 800 on an ETF. So it has come down and hit that level. Now, I wasn't predicting it will drop, but I'm saying that is the only level where
That
if
you.
I'm going to buy it, I will start looking because it's safe. And remember, I'm buying in bits. So this is even the starting point. That was at a big discount to where it's been.
Right. That's
So just an idea of the kind of way we look at markets. Like when I set these target entries, it's usually a massive discount um, to whatever the price is when I was actually looking at it. So I'll do some chart work, some analysis. So people know that if something's alerting, it has fallen down to hit
Then
that alert. And
right.
that's just the starting point. And then everyone gets a sheet that looks like this. So everyone, this is session 4 of the course. You get given your individual sheet like this to download and instructions on how to save it in your own name so that I can have access to it as well. Before you buy any stock, you'll have a plan written out like this. This shows you where you're buying, when you're buying more, how much you're spending when you're buying more, what your average price is going to be if this happened. So you're looking at all the scenarios before you even buy the first time. So if you do enter a stock and it's dropping, you already know what
That
you're what buying more at another specific price added on to what you already had is going to give you as a new break-even price. So you're not worried,
yeah, this
right?
is
So let's say, for example, this stock here, Velisys, which is a green energy stock, green, they're trying to make green fuel for aircraft. Let's say someone bought it at 3 for spent £400 and it's dropped to 2 and they've bought some more and they spent the other £400 and they've got a £1,000 budget for this stock and they
right.
know if it drops to 1, they'll spend the last £200, but it
Right.
hasn't happened yet. But if it did happen, their average price would be 1.87. If it fell to 1 and they bought more and they only spent £200, their overall average will be 1.87, even though the current price is 1. So it only needs to move from 1 to 2 for them to make a profit. It doesn't need to go all the way to 3. So it doesn't need to triple. It only needs to double,
Very
right?
frustrating.
So the other thing is, even it did go to 2 and they spent more, the average price is 2.4, which is like
So good.
25%, 30% from the current level, which is a normal move that can happen. But they would have known this before, they would have known this when we were buying this at 3, because the calculator lets them know the numbers and what their average price would be if that scenario happened. It's not
Right.
predicting it will happen. It's just letting them know that in case this happens, you have to buy more. And this is how much you spend when you're buying more from a
Exactly.
pre-agreed total budget, right?
Yeah.
And your live portfolio is where you record what you actually buy. So you kind of have a visualization and you get taught how to use a sheet, but it's done
Right.
in such a way that whenever you need to buy more, you would input in the prices you need to buy more at. So you'll get automatic alerts here if the price here falls below. What
Right.
that means is someone that's really, really, really busy,
Yeah, you
all
just
they need to do every day is open the sheet and check if there's an alert. And that alert is saying you're either buying more or you're taking profit. And it's a 2-minute alert they can do on their phone. It's a
right.
2-minute exercise they can do on the phone. Open this and check that there was nothing for them to do. Right.
That's
And then when you do have a bit more downtime, yeah, come back to the watch list, have a little look around, see what you would buy next if you ran into a lot of money and simulate. But the best thing I like about this sheet is because prices are real
dynamic.
time, I can simulate a virtual portfolio for you with a much bigger amount as well.
All right.
So
Okay. So
let's say you're starting with 5K, right? I'm like, okay, this guy works in tech. In a couple of years' time, this could be a 50K portfolio. So I can set this to 50K. So in your spare time, you can start playing around with how you would use my system with a £50,000 portfolio,
right. 100%.
right? And then you're getting comfortable with it and you realize it's very different to managing a 5. You see different swings, you see bigger swings, right? But you start getting comfortable with it. So when you do get there, you're not
Right.
thrown off. So you're not going to get this on YouTube. I know you're not going to get this on YouTube because I came up with this whole system of how I'm going to teach it, how I'm going to make it bite size, and why it has to be done in this specific way with these worksheets that I built and with this watch list. and then with the group. So the bottom line is no one buys anything from my watch list or my group without screenshotting me their plan. Because when they screenshot their plan, I can say, oh, do you know what? Adjust that 2 to 1.7. I can give the plan a final tweak because based on the market, that just makes sense and tailor it to the individual,
All right.
right? So that's the way it works at the moment. Um, the thing I'll end with is Finimize.
And oh, I think I've heard of that. It's like it
Yeah,
has
it's £40 a year with my discount. So their head of content is part of Stock Pickers. I worked with him at Goldman Sachs.
all right.
So he's been in the group from the beginning and seen the growth. So we
Wow.
were able to do that partnership quite easily, right? And this is the power of networking and always connecting with people because there's a world of contracts written down and signed and lawyers and all of this, and a world of getting things done. Word
Right.
of mouth, verbal agreement. I trust you, you trust me, right?
100%.
And the more you network, the more you discover the other world, right?
Legit.
And one thing I like most about Finimize, and you'll see this on the watch list, is they do sessions like this. So I'm going to just put this on. This was when I didn't understand Zoom. So,
Screen recording there.
so you can see here, Finimize and Stock Pickers Academy. We put on an ETF. Me and Bola Sol is another financial influencer. You should follow her. Also my client. We put on this ETF. She hosted. I put on the session on Zoom for Finimize, their entire community.
All right.
And they do loads of sessions where they invite experts in, right, to have events, and they're free once you're part of the membership. They do other things. They do educational sessions. They have a community, and they have this new newsletter that basically helps you to get to grips with commercial awareness.
Commercial awareness.
So commercial awareness is the big thing here, right? And you can see some of these ETFs, they did make it onto my watch list when I was going through it. You might even create an ETF watch list. You can see that this is the watch list I had at the time, and I showed them how to really invest in ETFs properly. But the reason I wanted to show you that is just to let you know the kind of other sessions that they do. They do crypto sessions, they do property sessions, they call in experts to debate certain things like crypto versus property. So I'm a massive advocate for Finimize. They basically do the bits I no longer need to do. So instead of me doing all that content and creating that whole platform, which will be a case of trying to fundraise and quite emotionally taxing, I say, actually, let's partner up with you guys. You are official partner for commercial awareness and events and doing all this stuff. And I
Yeah.
can focus on the strategy that you need for investing, right? I don't know if you've heard of REITs, but
Yeah.
this watches also have REITs. You can buy a bit of Westfield, you can buy bits of a cannabis warehouse.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're active on all the asset classes, commodities as well, gold, silver, gas, oil. And we tend to, and even Forex. For example, Revolut enable you to hold your savings or your current account in different currencies. And there are some interesting times where it does make sense to convert maybe 30% of your savings into dollars. We did that all of last year. So when the quasi-quartering thing happened, we were converting back.
Right.
That doesn't make you a Forex guru or Forex expert, but it's the equivalent of long-term investing, but for currencies. Every once in a while, it does make sense to convert a percentage of your savings, like 25 to 30%, to dollars,
Okay.
right? And for that reason, on my watch list, I
Is
make sure that you see the pound dollar exchange rate.
all right. So
For
there's
everyone that opens it, you just subconsciously, you're keeping track, right? When it
is
hits 1.3, this is where I feel like we need to start thinking about maybe converting back, making the conversion back to dollars again
all
with
right.
25% of our savings. And I'll make that call in the group. It's not telling you what to do. It's letting you know I'm doing it. Here are my reasons.
Mm,
And it's actually not a bad decision. It's a reasonable decision because you're not doing your whole account. You're just doing a percentage. You're diversifying the currencies that you hold your savings in.
makes
So
sense.
SPA is not just stocks, you see.
Yeah,
It's the mindset, it's making good decisions about your money, protecting your money, and growing your money.
yeah, that sounds
And if
brilliant.
you want to grow your career, your business, or anything else, you've got the right network of people that you can leverage, you can ask questions, you can let them know what you're up to, let them know your struggles. And more times than not, you get an answer, a good answer, or a range of answers, even better.
Yeah, that sounds exactly what I'm looking for, to be honest. So,
Okay.
would that be the Telegram group there? Like, which group would that be that you can kind of network with more people more?
Um, all the groups in a way, because they're going to be people in maybe the big group that aren't in my paid services that might still be able to add value.
Right.
So you can kind of ask your questions all the time. But I'll tell you the difference. So the paid Telegram is a little bit like a classroom, right? Where everyone is focused on this strategy. But if someone does ask a question outside of it, we'll talk, we'll you know, we'll discuss it. The WhatsApp group, random people will just ask random. The WhatsApp group and the bigger Telegram is where random people might just ask random questions about property or angel investing, or they're looking for money to raise on their startups. And, you know, you get to eavesdrop in those discussions. But the difference, the big Telegram group and the WhatsApp group should be the same because it's the same people,
Right.
but people don't duplicate convos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so as much as I wanted it to be the same, what's happened is a lot of conversation happens in the WhatsApp that doesn't even touch the bigger Telegram.
All
But if
right.
you ever wanted to advertise your business or whatever, you can do that in the big Telegram. You get reach more people.
Right. Yeah, that's
But
true.
we live in a world where people open WhatsApp first. It's just how it is, right? So there's more engagement in the WhatsApp group than any other group.
All right. So if I
But
was to,
over time, like you can kind of maneuver which, do you know what I mean? If you say did the like people, some people stay in a big group, then eventually they feel like, okay, I'm ready to do the course now. So they do the course and then they join the group mentoring. Some might later on feel they need one-to-one. Some might be like, oh, do you know what? Let me upgrade my membership to the WhatsApp group after 6 months or whenever. Some people they just dive straight in with all the services and then maybe downgrade later. But these things are more personal decision.
all right.
I
Yeah.
think the best thing is just to like take the information away and just have a little think on what you think works for you. Obviously, I'm always going to advocate do the course because I wrote it, man. I wrote
Yeah.
it and I know what it is.
Yeah. Probably, I don't know how long it took you, but it's one of those things. Like once you get
Yeah, I wrote it and I know, you know, when I know it's not out there.
right.
The way you're thinking, the whole structure, I know it's not out there. Most people, they think they do a bit of research on a stock and then you go out and buy it. And then
Yeah.
if it drops, you buy
Yeah.
more. But it's like, that's, it's not enough. It may make you money in a year or whatever, but it's not enough to repeat over and over again over a 10-year period,
100%.
you
No,
know?
definitely.
So, um, yeah, definitely recommend getting a course
So
and joining the group mentoring. That's what I think is route one.
okay, so that's the
And I think over time,
which one is
you
that
will
one?
know if you want to upgrade to the WhatsApp or you want to do anything. But I think that's the most common route.
Which one was that again? The group mentoring, is that
Twenty
the
pound a month
20 pound a month?
in
Okay.
in Telegram, but then you also get all the watch lists and everything as well as part of that.
Right.
Um, yeah, I think doing the course and doing that is like the most common and the most recommended. And if
Right.
you feel later on down the line you want anything else, then we can have that discussion then.
Okay. Yeah, that's brilliant.
All right.
Yeah.
That's all we've got time for, but it was
Yeah.
a good discussion. It was good to actually I might start doing a few more of these. I
Yeah,
feel like networking is two-way.
it's
Learning
good.
about someone, them learning about you, and I've got a bit more time now on certain days at certain times. So yeah, this was like how SBA was like 2 years ago, and I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy, communicating with people and stuff. There was even a time I was doing a one-to-one course, which was like booking one like 5 sessions like this until I
Well,
taught
back
you
to back.
everything. Yeah,
That'd be that's tiring.
yeah, but yeah, you get that out. You get that you get more than enough from the equals, and really and truly, I just know that everyone who touches the network and does a course like networking, like it's just upside.
Yeah, that's too super big for me. Obviously, like if I can meet other software developers, get like their insight, how
Mhm.
they progress in their career, and I would say like my end goal was to have like my own consultancy of sorts, like some
Yeah,
like, web
yeah,
development like that. So
yeah. But now that I know that anyway, I'll keep an eye out as well. Connect with me on LinkedIn, obviously as well.
yeah, we'll do.
Um,
I think I have.
okay, great. And I've also got a platform that I co-founded called Coach Cube.
Coach.
coach-cube.com. And ultimately, what I'm going to be doing is it's a platform basically where coaches, mentees, and mentors can, like through AI, they'll connect.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still quite early. We've raised money obviously for it, but we'll see how it goes.
Right. That sounds sick.
But it was nice. It was nice. It was nice having a discussion.
Yeah, same.
Um, yeah, and hopefully hear from you soon.
We'll do.
All right, you
You,
take care, bro. Have a good weekend.
you too. Take care.
All right, bye.